We are talking about listener engagement and how you can get more out of your show with a few simple strategies. Happy Thanksgiving to all our viewers and listeners in the US. Today, we're reflecting on gratitude, and there's no one we're more thankful for than you, our audience. And no better time than this Thanksgiving week to express that gratitude. Your support and encouragement keep us inspired. And in this episode, we're going to talk about how showing gratitude and using a bunch of other great strategies can help you build stronger connections with your listeners and grow your podcast. So stick around. Welcome back to another episode of Legit Podcast Pro, the show that helps you navigate the legal and business side of podcasting with confidence and ease. I'm Gordon Firemark, the podcast lawyer, and it's Thanksgiving week here in the US. And I've got a special episode for you today because we're diving into listener engagement strategies that will not only make your audience feel valued, but also to help your podcast thrive. And since it's the season of gratitude, let's just talk right off the bat about how showing your gratitude, expressing your thanks can play a big role in building a loyal community. Let's get started with that. First off, why listener engagement matters? Well, let's talk about that. Think of it this way. Your audience is more than just a group of people who happen to play. They are the heart of the podcast. When you engage with them, you are not just building your fan base, you're creating a loyal community of listeners. Listener engagement encourages loyalty, drives word-of-mouth promotion, and even boosts your appeal to potential sponsors. It's all about forming meaningful connections, and trust me, it doesn't have to be hard. We'll show you how in the next segment here. So, first off, gratitude. Showing your gratitude regularly is important. Gratitude isn't just nice, but it's very powerful. Thank your listeners often, whether it's in every episode or through special shout-outs. Highlight their questions, their feedback, milestones like their anniversaries of listening to the show, if you know that. For example, you could say, I just want to give a shout-out to Jane in New York. She's been a listener since day one. Thank you so much, Jane. Small touches like that go a very long way. And hey, with Thanksgiving this week, what better time to let your audience know how much you appreciate them? Number two, create interactive opportunities. Make it easy and fun for your audience to connect with you. Ask questions in your episodes, run polls on social media, host live Q&A sessions. If you're on platforms like Spotify, you could use some of their built-in interactive tools to get input from your listeners. The key is to let the audience feel like they're a part of a conversation and not just spectators. Number three, build a sense of community. Podcasts thrive when listeners feel like they belong to something bigger. Consider starting something like a Facebook group or a Discord channel or another space where your audience can connect with you and with each other. You can organize virtual meetups or even in-person events if your audience is local. The stronger their bond with your community, the more loyal they'll be to your show. And one strategy I've used really effectively with my Entertainment Law Update podcast is to host meetups whenever I travel. So whatever town I'm in, whatever conference I'm attending, I'll always try to host a meetup and let my listeners and audience know, hey, I'm going to be in your town, or whatever, and that's what'll happen. And it's great to meet them in person and let them feel like we know each other and actually know each other a little better. You can leverage user-generated content in your podcast development. Your audience is going to have great ideas for you, so it's really wise to let them contribute. Invite them to share stories, tips, or artwork related to your podcast's theme. Feature these in your episodes. Make sure to mention them by name. It's win-win. The audience members feel valued. You get great content. How can you lose? Delivering personalized experiences. Adding a personal touch can make all the difference in the world. If you can do it, celebrate birthdays, shout out your top supporters, tailor your content based on listener feedback. The more your audience feels seen and heard, the more connected they will be to your show. Next up is being consistent and authentic. Consistency is how you build trust. Show up regularly with quality content. Let your personality shine through. That authenticity will help your audience to connect with you on a deeper level. And you can offer exclusive content or perks to your loyal listeners, rewards with things like early access to episodes, bonus content, private Q&A sessions. These kinds of exclusives make your audience feel like VIPs, and nobody will be your better marketing tool or strategy than folks who are really feel like they're a part of it and are invested. And finally, ask for feedback. Don't be afraid to ask the audience what they think. Ask them to give you reviews, to fill out surveys, to complete feedback forms, to just to email you and send you a quick note or a text or whatever. This will help you improve the podcast, and especially if you implement the tips you get, and it'll make your listeners feel like their opinions really matter. So where do you start to implement these strategies? Well, first off, don't get overwhelmed. Pick 2 or 3 of these things that resonate for you. Maybe showing more gratitude, running a poll on social media, launching a listener group, something like that. Test these things out, see what works, and then tweak them as needed. The key is to be consistent and to prioritize building these meaningful connections with your audience. So I just want to recap. Here are today's top engagement strategies. Show gratitude regularly, create interactive opportunities, build a sense of community, leverage user-generated content, personalize experience, be consistent and authentic, offer exclusives, and ask for feedback. And remember, engaging with your audience isn't just about growing your numbers. It's about building real, meaningful relationships. When you make your listeners feel valued, they will stick with you for the long haul. So this Thanksgiving, I challenge you to find one new way to thank your audience and connect with them on a deeper level. Trust me, this is not just great for building an audience, but it's also great for your business. If you are selling products and services, your audience is going to become your customers, especially when they feel invested and like they're a part of something larger. So before we wrap up, I want to invite you to a free training I'm holding. It's called Business and Legal Fundamentals for Podcast Growth and Profit. In this training, you will learn how to turn your passion into a thriving podcast business and to protect it legally so you can go forward with confidence and take the big, bold steps that drive real success. You can reserve your spot now by visiting podcastlaw.net, and I would love to see you there. It's coming up on December 5th, and then we'll be doing it again just every few weeks after that. So stick around and sign up. The registration is at podcastlaw.net. So that's it for this episode. Thank you for joining me. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode if you found it helpful. That helps us grow that audience. And if you have comments, please drop them in the comments. Send us an email. Leave us your note. I'll wish you another happy Thanksgiving this Thursday, the 27th of November in 2024. I'm sorry, today is Tuesday, the 27th, Wednesday, the 27th. Gosh, I'm all messed up. Anyway, happy Thanksgiving. I will catch you next time when hopefully I won't be quite as jumbled. I'm Gordon Firemark, the podcast lawyer, signing off from Legit Podcast Pro. See you next time.